Oh, it's JavaScript.
Is it working?
Yeah, I think so. It's recording.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So you need to write a function called integer pairs to find and print out all pairs of integers within an input array, which sum up to a specified input value k.
Can you repeat that? So if I write a function integer pairs which prints
To
integers.
find and print out all pairs of integers within an input array. So you have a parameter array, and this pair of integer need to sum up to a specified input value k. Okay, so for example, you have a array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and your k value is 11. So you need to find and print out all pairs that sum up to 11 within this array.
Sorry, you said 1 to 10 and then.
A number 11.
Okay. So I need to find all the pairs that would equal that.
Mm-hmm. So for example, you would have 110, 65, 47, 38, 29, something like that.
Yikes. Okay.
So that those two will be the two arguments for your integer pair function.
Okay, so I need 2 arguments. Sorry.
Yep.
Okay.
One is for array and one for the k value, which is 11.
So you said one for array and one for the k value. Okay.
Yep. That's it.
Okay, so how do I go about doing this? Write a sum for the value of k. So I'm going to need a loop to iterate through everything and add the 2 integers in each pair. Is this array? So would this be an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
1 to 10.
In this case, it's special because it's sorted. But we talk about a non-sorted. It will be different, a little different. But for now, just use as a sorted array.
Okay. Okay. So I need to figure out the first integer.
What's the first brute force solution you can think of?
So would be to check the first, iterate through the first, and then check up to the last.
Right.
Okay. So then we'll need to set a first. Okay. And then we need to check to see that these numbers add up to k.
If they are, just console log both those numbers.
If they are k, console log both. Okay. And if they're not, then we could just skip them.
Right.
Okay. Should be it. So we want to let the first equal to 0, since that's our first. No.
Do you really need a variable for this? Because as you loop, you will be able to identify the number anyway, right?
Yes. So we. Sorry about that. Let me mute this real quick. Okay. The first thing.
Maybe you can think of it like in a different approach. Like, how do you print out all possible pairs for it, like of all numbers in this array?
So to print out all possible pairs, we would need to.
So you need like 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 8, 1, 9, 1, 10, and then you go 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, and so on.
So the brute force way would be 2 loops.
Right.
So then we would do.
So what would the first loop be when you're trying to loop?
It would be iterating through from the first to last.
Okay, so that's the first number in the pair, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you need to do, like as you go through each of those numbers, what you're comparing them to. So say you go to 1, what number are you comparing?
So I'm comparing 1 to 2, and then I'm comparing 1 to 3, then 1 to 4, and then so
Okay,
on.
so basically compare from 2 to 10. So what would that be? Well, that's another loop.
That would be array of 1 to be
The length, right? Length minus 1. So start writing it down. Maybe you can see it. So
oh, that's
get
right.
to the first number first.
Okay, so let first. So first is always equal to 0.
Mm-hmm.
And then yes, you're right. Thank you for that hint. So it would be the last. Last number is equal to write down length minus 1. This iterates through everything. Okay. Now for loop. How would I loop this?
To try to print out the 10 numbers. Try that first. Write a for loop that print out the 10 numbers.
For loop that prints out the 10 numbers.
Yeah, print out all the number in the array. You start with index 0, right?
Yes, I'm blanking how to even make a for loop right now. Yikes. Okay. So let the first index which is I.
Mm-hmm.
I.
What the last index will be?
It'll be
That last right there
the lane.
that you have. Yeah.
Yeah. So only when it's less than
Mhm.
then increment by 1 each time.
Right.
Okay.
So you would print them out.
So we're looping through everything. The first
But
index.
now do you start at index 1? Is that the first number?
Yes, because we're using
But
ones.
but index 1 is number 2, right? It's not number 1.
That's what I'm saying. So aren't we using number 2 to compare? So we're using 1 to
Mhm.
compare from 2 to 10. So the first number that we start the loop would be from 2 to 10.
But yeah, that if you do it one time, but you're not doing it just one time. So right now you just get the first number, which is 1, and
Mhm.
you run the second loop, and then you only compare 1. But how do you proceed from 1 to number 2? So your first number is 1 right now, but you only compared one time.
Yeah. So then that would be my first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So now that in here, that's when you get the second number.
Right. So now we have to compare the first numbers though, right? So then we have the second number, which is 4. Okay.
What you can do is try to print them both the number that you're getting now in these two loops, so you can see if you're doing it right or wrong. So, but again, when you do two loop, you cannot use the same index I because it will get confused, right?
That's right.
So the second loop need to be a different
J.
letter. Mm-hmm.
So we're comparing, so return J plus I.
Well, first thing is you should console log both of the RI and RJ and see what they like. Just console log them out. Because the I and the J is the index, so you can console log out the actual number.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Plus array J?
Oh, comma. You want to see
Oh,
both of the number right now.
okay.
Okay. You have to run the actual functions.
Right.
Have to input the R. You don't have R yet, so you have to plug in that array up there. Yeah, and then number 11 as a second parameter. Make sure it's in a square bracket. With the comma.
Right.
Okay, so you have 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. That's the first loop.
Then we have the second loop, then we have the third loop.
Okay.
So
Do you think it's a lot of duplicate, right? Because if you go up top, you have like 1, 2 already. I mean, you have 2, 3 already. So when
yeah,
you go to 3, do you need to compare 3 and 2 again? You
no,
probably don't.
yeah, you can just skip over it. So
So
we need,
for the second loop, how do you skip over the old number that you already looped through?
so we would need something. What can skip over?
So let's say from 1, like index 0, we would look from index 1 to the end. And then now we move on to 2. We don't want to compare 1 again. We only compare the one after 2. And then when we move to 3, we only want to compare the one after 3, right? So what the J would be? J would be the current number and then become the next. of the current.
So we would decrement, right?
No, we would increment j from where? From the root number, which is what?
From the current number,
Mm-hmm.
which would be
But
in
the
that
index.
case 2, yeah. So
that's why you want to calculate j based on I, not like hard-coded 1 or 2 or 3, but it's based on I.
mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Let's see this then. So we want j.
So right now you have 1, right? You have coded. How you calculate that 1 based on I? So what I need to add to become 1? Right now I is 0.
Can you repeat that? You said, what does I need to?
I is like the first number, which is the base. So the base
Yeah.
that you look into 1 to 10. And then
Mhm.
j, that's the number that you want to compare to I, right?
Yes.
And those should come after I, not
Yes.
before.
So then j needs to come after I because j is the
So
second number.
when should it start? So right now I is 0, it's j start at 1. If I is 1, j start at 2. If I 2, j start at 3.
Yeah.
So you want to do j by calculating I plus 1, right? So that's where you start the second loop.
Okay. Oh, it's a little confusing.
If you print them out, you will see. Instead of j equal 1, you can try I plus 1.
Okay.
But you still need j there. You cannot like get rid of j. Yep. And if you console log, maybe you can see why. Now it's a lot shorter as you
Right.
go. Yeah.
Okay.
So now what you need to do now that you have the pair.
So now we need to check to see if they're equal to k. So then it will be if the sum of, oh wait, first we want to set, yes, so sum is equal to k.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, then we want to, well no, first we need to set what k equals.
Yeah.
Because right now it doesn't know what k equals. So we can say that k is equal to,
No, k is given because right, you see in line 21, we're giving k as 11. We try to see if
oh
the
right,
two number add up to k.
right. Okay, so I was on the right. So sum is what we're looking at. So sum is equal to k. Sum is, so now we want to write what sum equals, right?
But you have to do it first before you compare them, right? So if you don't have sum yet, how does it know on line 13 that
What
where
sum
sum come
is.
from?
Yeah, okay. So then, question is, do I want to put that in my loop or do I want to put that outside?
Does a number change every time it loop?
Sum does change every single time, so it has to be a constant. It can't be let.
And does it depend on the I and j?
Yes, so it would be is equal to array of I plus array of j.
Yep.
So then if sum is array of I plus array of j, which equals to k, then we want to return
We want to print them out. We're not returning, we just console log them.
Okay, so then we want to console.log. Array of I and array of J.
There you go.
That were interesting. Okay.
What would be the ON of this?
This is O(n) squared. Actually, this might even be O(n). No, it's O(n) squared.
Yep, because we have the nested loop.
We have nested
Nested
loop,
for loop.
yeah. I was thinking that technically this might be considered an n, but I don't think so. Yeah, so this is O(n) squared. Okay, so there's another way of doing this. Let's see. Whew. Okay. Let's use this for reference. So function pairs array and k. So we keep the. I realize I didn't even use first or last.
So now instead of two loop, what's optimize? What's your guess on the ON of the optimized version?
So something like this can't be. I would need.
We need a loop?
Yes.
Okay, so since this one is ON square, then the optimized probably ON, right? But you just want to loop one time instead of two times.
Right.
So how can we solve this? Just looping through these numbers just one time.
If you need to loop through them just once. The function needs to know whether or not this how would we do this in one loop?
What if you can use another table to store the value that you know will add up to this number, will sum them up to k.
You repeat that? You said store a number.
Yeah, if you have, let's say if you have another array, right? In that array, you can tell that because for example, if you go from the first number 1, right? You know you need number 10. You need number 10 in this array for those to add up to 11. So you can just simply you loop each time, and then you would go and you look into that array, and you see if that number is in there or not. But then you have to construct that table. So that would be something like a hash table.
What is a hash table? Can I Google hash
Sure.
table? Oh, right. Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
Uh, okay. So we'll say hash table is an empty array. Okay.
So you know that this hash table need to contain technically all the number, like most of the number in that array, original array.
Yeah, it'll contain all the value pairs.
So let's say when you do a loop to that array, right? You can check in here if the number that add up to that number is in here or not. If it's in there, you can just return them. But if it's not, then you want to put whatever number that doesn't have a pair in there. So when it come to the next number, it can check again. Does that make sense?
Yes. Question is, how do I loop through each to check? See if the
So one thing you need to do for sure is to look through the 10 numbers. That's the thing that you have to do for sure. So we still use the same for loop, like the reference up there on line 11.
yeah, I think so.
And now as we look through, what you think we can do? We can, let's say we look through number 1, the first index. We want to check in the hash table if there's a number 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now there's no pair, so but there could be pair to other stuff. So we can stash that number 1 in the hash table. That way, by the time we get to 10, we can look in the hash tables and check for number 1 because 10 plus 1 is 11. And we see number 1 in there because we put it in there from the beginning. Make sense?
My brain is not working. Hold on.
Yeah.
To see if the yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, it's okay. So for now, just write that line number 10. So look through, write the for loop for all 10.
So this will loop through all 10.
Okay, so now for each of the number, you need to check to see if the number that make it add up to 11 inside the hash table. So how do you check that? You check if the value k minus ri, which is 1 right now, is inside hash table. So you check if the value of hash table of k minus ri. You have to check for the value of it inside the hash. So you have to do like hash of that.
Okay. So it would be, I don't even know how this is done. So it'll be hash, if hash of, you said k minus ri.
And for that to happen, the hash table needs to be an object because we don't have the key, but this is basically a key value pair instead of array. So change it from an array to an object, hash table.
Oh,
Yeah.
Here, you mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So now we're checking if the number 10 is in there or not. If number 10 in there, then we found our pair. So we can just return that. If that equal, yeah, then we can just return Ri and that.
Log. So then here we want to return
Just Ri and
R
then
of
K
I.
minus Ri, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that first step, we go 1, we check if 10 in the hash table or not. If it is, then we got the pair, so we return 1 and 10.
Okay.
What if it's not in there? Then we pass that Ri in there, just so it can look up later.
So then, if not else,
We're gonna put
so hash table equals.
well, hash table need the key, right? So the key would be that value. Hash
It
table
would
of
be R of
Ri.
I. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can assign it to some number. Let's say
I, right?
yeah, or index. Wait, can you put it just to be sure? Do it I+1. I don't remember. It can be okay. So now I try to console log out. Wait, that's so what are we miss?
Let me make sure to close everything.
What is the number? I think you're missing.
Yeah,
Oh, you're
bracket.
missing a bracket, a parenthesis somewhere. Oh, and the if on line 24. You didn't close the parenthesis on line 24.
If hash. Yeah, you're right. There we go.
Yeah.
Now this is Oven.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thanks for the help. I appreciate it.
There's the third solution. I don't know.